Hey guys, it's Heather. So today I'm going to be doing the first time tag. Yeah, I'm not going to repeat what everybody said.
It's not what you think, blah, blah, blah.
You know, it's just first time at different things in my life, so we're just going to go ahead and get right into it. I have it on my phone, so I'm just going to look at the questions. I was watching Emily Noel 83, but I guess she posted hers on the BeautyVlogCast, so I got the questions from her. So we're going to go ahead and get right into it. So question number 1 is, do you still talk to your first love? Well, I mean, honestly, I would say my first love, I know everybody says this here, but I would say my first love is my husband. So yes, we've been together almost 10 years. I was 17 when I met him. So, I mean, I didn't even know what love was at that point. So, I mean, I would definitely say as I got older, he would be my first love. Puppy love in high school, you know, I mean, that doesn't even count. The next question is, what was your first job? My first job was a hostess at a local restaurant in my town. It was like a catfish restaurant, and I got hired on when I was 16, and I was a hostess, and I really liked it. And then I went to waitress, and I was horrible at waitressing. Absolutely horrible. I remember dropping salad on this elderly man and spilling salad dressing all over him. I was awful, so they just kept me as a hostess. The next question, what was your first car? My first car was a Jeep Cherokee. I loved it. It was red. My grandpa actually gave it to me. It was one that he had bought, and he had promised it to me for so many years, and then when I was old enough, I got it. It was such a nice car, and I can't remember what year it was. I believe it was like a 1990 or an 89 or something like that. It was older, but it was super clean. He kept really good care of it. I loved that car. Who was the first person to text you today? That would be, well, let's look. I don't even know. It's probably my husband because, yeah. No, actually it wasn't. It was my mom. My daughter's in pre-K and she lives in Texas, and so I sent her a picture of the day every single day, and her response back to me at 7:29 this morning was, "Oh, I love her dress." So that was the first person that I texted this morning. Who was the first person you thought of this morning? I would say my daughter, because I had to get up with the alarm, get her up for school, so my first thought was, oh, let me go get Grace up. Who was your first grade teacher? I have no idea. I lived in Connecticut when I was in first grade. I don't even really remember anything about Connecticut. I was there, I believe, from kindergarten through second grade, and I don't remember really anything at all, which is weird. But I mean, and I have a good memory. Like, I remember a lot of stuff, but I don't remember anything about that time period. Where did you go on your first ride on an airplane? My first ride was when I was 12. I was living in Texas, and my aunt was in Connecticut and my cousin, and I wanted to go visit them, and so I flew. And I remember it was so funny because I was a minor, so I had an escort everywhere, and I got to get on the plane first and got to get off the plane first, and it was kind of like royal treatment. I mean, I was kind of irritated because at 12 I was pretty mature, but I mean, I understand why they did it that way. But yeah, that was my first from Texas to Connecticut. Okay, let's see. Who was your first best friend, and do you still talk? I don't really remember exactly who my first best friend was, because I'm sure I had a best friend when I was in Connecticut from K through second grade, but I don't really remember. The ones that I remember was when I was in fourth grade. Her name is Amanda, Lindsay. I had a bunch of best friends during that time, but I would say the first one was Amanda. And yes, we're still friends on Facebook. She still is in Texas, so we don't really see each other, but we do talk, and she's got a couple kids now. But we were friends all the way from elementary school till now, so it's been a long time. Let's see here. Where was your first sleepover? I don't remember exactly, but I want to say that I was probably in elementary school, and it was Lindsay's house or Amanda's house. It was one of those two. But back then I was like a real scaredy cat, and I was scared to nose itch. I was scared to stay anywhere. Like, I was always panicked. I don't know. I was a weirdo. But I would say it was definitely one of those two places. Who was the first person you talked to today? Well, physically talked to would be my daughter, because I woke her up and my husband was already gone to work, so it would definitely be Grace. Whose wedding were you in the first time? I believe that was my grandpa's, my dad's dad. He got remarried and I was actually in the wedding, and that was back when I was in 8th grade or 7th grade. 7th or 8th grade, so I think that's the only wedding I've ever been in, actually. Okay, what was the first thing you did this morning? Well, like I've said earlier, I woke up Grace, got her lunch together, her backpack, her clothes, all that stuff, all that pertaining to get her off to school. What was the first concert you ever went to? I would say it was when I was older. I don't think I ever went to concerts when I was younger, and I want to say the first one was when I went to see Charlie Daniels and Blake Shelton, and that was when I was about 17 when I met my husband. We went to Rhode Island where they were performing, actually at 2 separate times. So Blake Shelton was, I believe, first. First broken bone. I actually have never broken a bone. Knock on wood. Okay, first piercing would be my ears. That's the only thing I've got pierced. First foreign country you've gone to? I've never been to a foreign country. I know. I'm dying to go to a foreign country. I've never been to Mexico. I've never been anywhere, but I do want to travel everywhere. First movie you remember seeing? I would say Little Mermaid, because I was obsessed. Like when I was little, I would say 4 or 5 years old, I had this Little Mermaid dress that I wore like absolutely everywhere. That would probably be the one I remember so vividly because I used to watch it like over and over and over. Let's see, when was your first detention? I didn't get detention until I was in high school, and I believe it was because I was late. Like once I started driving, I was always late, which is so funny because now that I'm older, I hate being late. I absolutely hate being late. But back when I was in high school, I didn't care. I was tired, so I was like, whatever. But I would say I was probably a junior, because that's when I was 16. Yeah, so a junior in high school. And that was the only time I ever went to detention. Who was your first roommate? I never had a roommate except my husband, because like I said, I met him at 17. We got married when I was 18, so I was very young. He was the first person I roomed with. What was your first lessons you ever took? I don't remember as a small child. I don't remember taking anything, but I remember when I was like 16, I took piano lessons for a little bit. And I enjoyed it, but I kind of got bored with it. It wasn't my thing, but that was like the first lessons other than like driving lessons that I took. Who was the first person Whoa. Okay, the last question is, who was the first person beauty related on YouTube you ever watched? I would say, I get confused on this because I know it is a toss-up, like everybody's answer. Candy Johnson, Emily Noel, Makeup by Tiffany D. It was one of those girls, but I believe it was like, I think it was Emily Noel was the first one. I'm pretty sure, because I didn't watch Candy Johnson until later, it seems like. But it was one of those three, so... And now I watch a whole bunch. Okay guys, that's it. I tag all of you to do it. This was just a cute little tag, answering some questions just to get to know me a little bit better. So I hope to see your video responses or your answers down below. I will link the questions down below as well. I hope you enjoyed this tag video, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.